Would I be an asshole if I called CPS on my wife's sister for her child?
Plus, update.
I'm keeping this anonymous for obvious reasons. My wife and I are both in our late 20s and have been married for 5 years. We're happily married and don't have children yet due to some fertility issues we're working through. My wife's sister is 20 years old and has a 3-year-old daughter with her on-again, off-again boyfriend. The guy seems like a bit of a jerk, but that's just my impression. My wife loves her sister and her niece deeply, and we babysit the child about 1 to 3 days a week, every week. At first, my wife was really happy to babysit since she adores kids. I was glad to do it too, knowing it made her happy. This arrangement has been going on for about 6 months now, but in that time, I've started noticing some things that concern me. The child, who's a sweet kid, shows some troubling behaviors. She's extremely clingy towards my wife and seems very fearful around me. She'll often cling to my wife for hours, crying whenever she's put down. She avoids eye contact with me and any other male strangers she encounters. She also wets the bed every night, sometimes multiple times, and occasionally stays in it all night. Sometimes, she'll wake up my wife, but she's hesitant to approach if I'm there, usually opting to sleep at my wife's feet. She also seems to have trouble with using the restroom. Even though she's potty trained, she'll hold it for hours, leading to frequent infections that she's regularly treated for. Additionally, she's very picky about food, often saying her throat hurts, even with foods she's previously enjoyed. Her relationship with toys is also concerning. She'll draw on her dolls' faces and cut their hair, and when my wife asks her why, she just starts crying. The only toy she doesn't damage is a single stuffed cat, which she keeps safe while the rest are destroyed. The most disturbing part for me is when her mother, my wife's sister, comes to pick her up. The child cries, screams, kicks, and struggles, resisting her mother. They dismiss it as her just not wanting to leave my wife, but it feels like more than that to me. I rarely see her father, but I know he moved back in with them in the last year. I don't know for sure what's going on, but I think you can understand what I'm concerned about. When I suggested this to my wife, she was extremely upset and offended, thinking I was accusing her sister or implying she might be hiding something. She wouldn't even consider it, but I could tell it made her think. I wasn't accusing her sister of causing or concealing anything, more so that she might not even be aware. It's clear, though, that my wife isn't going to do anything about it. I truly don't know what to do, other than call CPS and explain the situation. Update. I posted my original story a few days ago, and several people asked for an update out of concern for the child. I called CPS shortly after that post. They responded with a wellness check pretty quickly based on what I described, and a social worker got involved. She was experienced, knew exactly the right questions to ask, and the child admitted to her what had been happening. Sadly, I was right, and the child told the social worker that it was her dad. Her mother was aware of it, and allowed it to happen. Both parents were arrested. The child was taken in temporarily but is now staying with us. My wife is completely devastated and heartbroken that her sister allowed this to happen to her own child and that the child has been enduring this for at least 6 months. My wife isn't angry with me for calling. In fact, she's grateful. She admitted that she hadn't seen the signs and is very upset with herself for it. My wife can sometimes be a bit naive, always wanting to see the best in people, and she assumed the best in her sister. She's not a bad person. As for the child, she's safe with us and doing okay. She's often told my wife she wanted to live here, so she's happy for now. Just in the past few days, she started to warm up to me, which I'm taking as a good sign. Yesterday, she even asked me to hold her stuffed cat, so I think that's a step forward. We're working with a lot of professionals to support her. Thank you to everyone who responded the first time. While I'm sure we all hoped for an update where I was wrong, at least she's safe now.